So today we're going to be doing a teardown and rebuild of my computer out of my old Antec 1200 full tower case and transitioning over to my gently used NZXT full tower case over here. It's a nice red color scheme. It has no 5 1/4 inch drive bays because it's 2015 and nobody uses optical media anymore. So you pull the front of the case off and it's actually just 3 120mm fans with a nice little dust filter there. And all in all, we're going to be installing my new HX1000i Corsair power supply. And honestly, I feel a little, I don't know if nostalgic's the right word, but you know, it's like selling your first car. You know, I've had this case for like 6 or 7 years now, and I've had 5 different i7s in it. I've got all these case badges on the top of it, some of which are sort of peeled off and some of which are. And you know, there's a lot of history with this case, but you know, I really want to get some USB 3.0 front panel, and having more USB front panel in general with 4 rather than 2 is a big deal. And my front bottom fan is very upset, and the other 2 aren't very far behind, and they're all light up blue, which is kind of out of style, and it all goes through this fan controller in the back, which I'm not a big fan of because you have to lean all the way behind all of your stuff to switch it. And you know, it's time. And our guest star Bentley is going to be helping me throughout this entire thing. He might get too annoying and I'll have to lock him in a room or something, but you'll be seeing plenty of him. This case is rather dusty, and that's because I've been planning this recase build for quite a while now, and I've just been putting off cleaning it because I knew I was going to have to take it all apart at some point. But here's the haggard mess that is my current SLI setup. As you'll see, I have an 8-pin and a 6-pin running into my bottom GTX 970 G1, and then my top is actually ran off of 2 Molex power adapters being converted over to an 8-pin and then a 6-pin, and then my 8-pin CPU connector is running across both of them and going into the top, and all of my fan headers are run out here because I didn't have another Molex power lead from this Thermaltake power supply to actually get power to these adapters, so I had to move all of my leads into a way that I could have all my fans plugged in and daisy chain enough of them together to get power to this video card. So, needless to say, not optimal, would not recommend. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to try and keep the static bomb that is Bentley as far away as possible, and we have Olive over here. But man, I wish Asus would get with the times and stop having their SLI bridges be these horrible, like 1999, I don't even know what color that is, copper? It's not good. Anyway, so first thing we're going to pull out is our 2 video cards here. Push this little pin here, pop out our first G1. There she is. Could use a light dusting. There's that. And there it is. And we got 4 gigs DDR5 on both of those. Unplug that, unplug this, my cell phone's going off. Alright, now, as you see, I didn't have any sort of proper radiator support, so I had to do some nonsense when I was installing this. So it's kind of just mounted to this case exhaust fan, and then there's another push fan mounted to the other side of it, and I have some nice long screws that go through and can actually hold on to it. Turn in a screwdriver. So there we've got our copper plate, a little bit of thermal paste on it. See if we can hang that out right there. Take this radiator off in the back here. See, we got to reach through the fan screw holes and actually unscrew the case fan from our 120mm radiator. Do. Cats everywhere. There we are, and there's 3. Alright.
You might be able to see, if it wants to focus for us, just how dusty it is in there. Rather dusty. This side's not that bad.
Screw number 1, number 2.
And the last screw here, I'm pretty sure, it's basically a guarantee that you always miss one of them, but maybe not. Okay. Oh, I've got all the little covers on the HDMIs and display ports and eSATAs and stuff. I have to take off the IO shield plate. There we go. Alright, there we are. Sabertooth thermal armor. And I think it does a pretty good job of cleaning the board up with these little covers on them. I guess for starters, we're going to get the old power supply out of the way here. Dun, 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 dun. Unscrewing things from things. Just gonna edit this all up. It's gonna be nice and zippy, and one screw and then the next screw, and you guys don't have to sit here and watch me unscrew all of these in real time, or else it would be a rather long video. I can disconnect the other semi-modular leads there. There we are. We have our thermal take through power 750 watt, which had 4 12-volt rails, which used to be a real big deal how many 12-volt rails you have, but anymore, real big high-end power supplies like my HX1000i, it only has one 12-volt rail, because they would run into issues where you'd have too much amperage being pulled from one rail, and it was just difficult. So in order to simplify everything, they put it all back on one rail. So hey, what do you know? Taking out the hard drive cage. I have 2 SSDs and my original 2 1TB Caviar Blacks. I'm just delaying the inevitable of flipping the case up and taking the side panel off. There's something. Alright. So here's a bunch of our fans and adapters. And don't try this at home, because it's really not regulated for that much power. Alright, and that's our hard drive cage fan. So there we have it. And got a bunch of cat hair on here, so we'll put that down. And I think we're done here. I've got nothing left in here but a DVD tray, which is not going to be able to go into the new case unless I do some fancy nonsense. So Antec 1200, you have treated me well-ish across the days, but unfortunately, on these attacking things, it's time to move on. I have none of the PCI Express covers left. So here we have everything that's going in, all laid out. Of course, other than the HX1000i, but everything's all dusted off to, you know, a much better extent than it was before. These 1 terabytes were pretty bad because that was the bottom fan that was not doing its job very good because it sucks in so much dust. And then these guys are dusted out. Need to do a little bit more work on the radiator, but here it all is, and we're gonna open up the new case and get working. Whenever you want to reinstall a CPU, it's very important that you use new thermal paste, because when you take the seal off, the thermal paste will get little creases and air bubbles will get trapped in it, and it won't be as efficient as fresh thermal paste. So always reinstall your new thermal paste whenever you remove and reseat a CPU. So here we have our new case. Bentley, get out of here. So here we have our new case. I have every single side panel, back panel, front panel, top panel, you know, under panel. Well, everything's off of it. First thing I guess I'm going to have to do is install our power supply. So the SSD will sit right here, and that'll be really cool. It would be nice if they were both the same, instead of one being silver or whatever, but hey, who's complaining? Me, I'm complaining. But nobody. HX1000, yeah, way more power than I'm ever gonna need. Now the question is, this is gonna be such a nice clean build, do I put a case badge on it? I don't know, maybe you guys comment below and say yay or nay on case badge. You'll see the finished product. There, Bentley, look, it's a box for you to play in. Works every time. And also let me guys know. Hey guys, let me know if you want to see more build logs like this, because I don't really have that much content to deliver because I don't get free stuff handed out to me like I used to and like the big guys did or do. So I kind of need to, you know, try to make stuff entertaining, but hopefully, you know, just doing simple stuff like this will get you guys entertained. So the power supply is actually a removable kind of modular thingamawhat here. So you take this rear plate, put the power supply here. This fan would be down like that. So, oh cool, it actually, the logo works in either direction. So that's that, yeah, because the fan will be down, which is actually how it wants to work. This will get mounted to it, and then it'll slide in from the back. And there is actually a big air inlet with a removable dust filter down there, which is good because dust is bad. Got our little crack baggie with some screws in it. You guys want some screws? I got a hook up on screws. It's good stuff. Corsair got your back. God, I wonder how long this video is going to be. I'm going to have to edit the crap out of it for all these stupid moments like this. It's probably going to be like 21 minutes long. That's what I'm guessing. Slide right on in. Screws into place. So we got our motherboard here with our same 8 gigs of RAM, 875K. Wow, that's 3 CPUs ago. 4790K. Make sure nothing's in our way here. There's already lift-offs in what should be the correct places. Let's put our I/O shield plate in first, because I'm bad at that. And there's one of them that doesn't actually take a screw. It's just a pin that holds the board in place right there. So now we got our little Tupperware guy. Where's the screwdriver? There it is. Now we go around and tighten all these guys up. Everything's all nice and even. There she is. All right. Now, let's install the video cards. No, CPU cooler. This is gonna go here, and then this sneaks in. Maybe I want to put it back one. So close. Alright, so we're going to install thermal paste, Arctic Silver 5 to be precise. Alright, so pro tips, whether it's brand new, used, or whatever, you're always going to want to push a little bit of it out onto a paper towel until you get a nice consistent non-liquidy fluid, because there is a little bit of water or whatever buildup separates. Then I personally use the decimal technique, so we draw a little line, put that right there, put that right there. I called it a decimal, but I meant a division technique. It just looks like a little division sign. Then you're going to want to grab your thumb screws. Line up right here. My arm's in the way of the video. Flip this mamma jamma right around to where it's supposed to be, and you want to try and make sure that the contact and pressure is in one smooth motion. You don't want to be picking up and putting down the thermal paste, because that'll cause air bubbles, which are bad. Now it is important that you get the block tight on all sides equally, so kind of walk around and do yourself a little star pattern. But don't over tighten it. But yeah, if you don't have a good seat, you will lose thermal efficiency. Alright, so time to install motherboard cables. I'm going to plug in everything that needs to go into the motherboard, power, data, and otherwise. So my camera died, and I figured I'd do some boring wire management stuff off camera anyway. So I've got the two SSDs mounted right here. We've got a SATA power lead ran to both of them. We've got our 8-pin power with our 6-pin power, which is also an 8-pin power. It's nice, you can power one video card that needs two 8-pins with just one lead. That's the nice thing about the HX1000i. It's got those twin leads. So that's 2 cables ran for all 4 of the power leads we need for the 2 video cards. Then we got our LEDs and power button and reset button and stuff ran in. We've got our front panel USB 2.0 and our Corsair link, and then our HD audio all plugged in. I got our 24-pin RAN, got our 8-pin RAN. At this point we basically just need to install the video cards, give them power, and then run my unfortunately blue SATA cables to the 2 SSDs and then the 2 hard drives, and then I guess button up cable management, and we'll be pretty much done. We got around the back here, I did a bunch of, seriously like 2 hours of zip tie-in. So we got these wires right here and these ones right here all together, and they're kind of grouped in. Got some stuff ran across. Here's the 2 1 terabytes are mounted up. The SATA power leads that actually had to be 2 separate modular leads, one for these hard drives over here and another one to go up through these little spots here so I could plug into those SSDs. Really not the best forethought on where they put those holes for the SSDs. I think they want you to use this one to the left or to the right of the gold SSD, but then all the cables would be running across everything and that would look super ugly. You see that hole right there? I think that the SSDs are probably supposed to be mounted the other way, and then you can have your power and data plugged in, but then it would be like all right here, or even if it came out of there and they were this way, then it would all be right here, and that's just super ugly. So I ran everything through these holes, which are technically, I guess, supposed to be for the USB headers and your power buttons and such, but I like it like that. It was a little difficult to get them folded and squeezed in there, but pretty good result. So there is one of them that has a bend to it because I got it used. So we're going to put the non-bending one at the top. Oh Christ. Well, this is a situation. I think I might be able to put the cage back in now that the video card's in. Let's get it screwed into place. I'm going to have to take the bottom hard drive out. So I can put that video card in. Should really plug the SATAs in first. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so we got our first WinForce in. I actually had to just pull it out, run all the little SATA leads down there, and then I pulled the other terabyte out as we saw earlier, and now we are going to install video card number 2. So much editing. I'm going to have to do so much editing. You're just sitting here like, man, this video's gone long. You have no idea. Man, that's a close one. Super close. What's up, Emily? Screwing stuff in. Screwing stuff in. Everything's looking pretty good. Got to work on training those cooling tubes. We got to flip this up, tighten these cables around the back. Make sure that they're not bumping any of the fans. And then it's go time. I feel like I'm gonna regret this. Right. bitch. Oh, there's still that screw. Remember I was talking about regret? There it is. So my card filled up there. I had to go take the micro SD card out of my old Galaxy S4 and put it in an adapter so that we could keep going here. Not sure where that cut off at, but I found the screw, got it out, and now I'm in the process of buttoning up these stupid long ass cables here. Okay, so here's how we are with the rear wire management. It's not the best in the world. Got this one little loom coming down here, are unfortunately blue cables, which I tried my best to actually sneak underneath of here. This one's kind of hanging out, but then they just kind of zoop up into here, and you really can't see it from the other side because all you see is the front of the SSDs, and then back there you really can't see it, especially not with this camera, especially not if it doesn't autofocus. But there's that. Got this side all done up. Still not sure what I'm going to do about that. 24 towers, blah blah blah. This cable's kind of ugly, but the thing's going to be here, so you're never going to see that. But it's really an ugly power cord. Should have spun the fan 90 degrees. But yeah. Here she is. Let's spin her around. That's our finished product. Doesn't look too bad. Kind of wish we had that cable a little tighter. I can fix that in the future. Putting the front panel on. There it is. Let's plug her in and try it. See if the lighting and everything is all good. I gotta go plug her in.